The 1996 Nissan 180SX Type X S13 was initially powered by the SR20 DET engine, a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 with 202 horsepower and 203 pound-feet of torque. One of the most recognizable features of the 180SX was its pop-up headlights. It became a favorite in a drifting scene due to its balanced chassis, rear-wheel drive layout, and tunability. It appears in Need for Speed 2015, No Limits, Payback, Edge, Heat, and Unbound. The 1998 Nissan 200SX S14 came with the same SR20 DET engine and featured more streamlined and modern styling compared to the S13. The S14 was known by various names, including the 200SX in Europe and the Silvia in Japan, with some regional variations in specifications and equipment. It appears in Need for Speed Shift, World, Shift to Unleashed, The Run, and Edge. The 1992 Nissan 240SX S13 was primarily powered by the K824DE naturally aspirated 2.4-liter inline-4 engine, producing 140 horsepower tailored for the North American market. The 240SX gained popularity in the drifting scene in the US, often swapped with turbocharged engines like the SR20 DET or RB25 DET. It appears in Need for Speed Underground 1, Underground 2, Underground Rivals, Carbon, Carbon Undercity, Pro Street, Undercover, Shift, World, Shift to Unleashed, and Edge. The 1989 Nissan 300ZX Z32 featured a twin turbocharged 3-liter V6 producing 300 horsepower, packed with advanced technology for its time, including a multi-link suspension, 4-wheel steering, and electronic climate control. The 300ZX appears in Japan release of the Need for Speed. The 2003 Nissan 350Z was powered by a 3.5-liter V6 engine, the VQ35DE producing 287 horsepower, and introduced the Nismo edition, which included performance enhancements such as a stiffer suspension, aerodynamic body kit, and lightweight components aimed at track enthusiasts. Rachel's 350Z is featured on a box art for Need for Speed Underground 2. It appears in Need for Speed Underground 1, Underground Rivals, Carbon, Undercover, World, and Heat. The 2006 Nissan 350Z saw an upgrade to the VQ35HR engine, increasing power to 306 horsepower, with a higher redline of 7500 RPM. It received suspension refinements, including updated shock absorbers and springs, and additional features like a premium Bose audio system, Brembo brakes, and a limited slip differential. It appears in Need for Speed Carbon on the City, Pro Street, Undercover, Shift, Shift 2 Unleashed, Most Wanted 2012, and Edge. The 2008 Nissan 350Z Z33 marked the final production year for the model before being replaced by the 370Z. It continued to utilize the VQ35HR engine and was available in both coupe and convertible body styles. The 350Z was celebrated for its contribution to the Z car legacy, combining performance, style, and affordability. It appears in Need for Speed Payback, Heat, and Unbound. The 2009 Nissan 370Z Z34 featured a 3.7-liter V6 engine, VQ37VHR, producing 332 horsepower. The 370Z introduced the world's first synchronized downshift rev matching system, or the Synchro Rev Match, for manual transmissions, which automatically matched engine speed to the next gear for smoother shifts. Compared with the 350Z, it was 4 inches shorter and around 95 pounds lighter. The chassis was reinforced with aluminum subframe, increased body rigidity, and a wider front track, resulting in better stability and cornering performance. It appears in Need for Speed Undercover, Shift, Nitro, World, Hot Pursuit, Shift 2 Unleashed, The Run, Edge, and Hot Pursuit Remastered. The 2013 Nissan 370Z Z34 received a facelift that included new LED daytime running lights and redesigned 18-inch alloy wheels. The Sport package added 19-inch raised forged aluminum wheels, a limited slip differential, and Synchro Rev Match transmission. The 3.7-liter V6 engine remained unchanged, continuing to deliver 332 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque. It appears in Need for Speed No Limits. First shown at the 2017 New York Motor Show, the 370Z Heritage Edition was introduced to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Z car lineage. Its unique color options were chicane yellow and magnetic black, with Heritage Edition badging, and on the inside, it included custom embroidered seats, special trim pieces, and exclusive color accents. It retained the 3.7-liter V6 engine and appears in Need for Speed Heat and Unbound. The 2015 370Z Nismo featured an upgraded 3.7-liter V6 engine, producing 350 horsepower and 276 pound-feet of torque, with a specially tuned suspension system, including stiffer springs, larger stabilizer bars, and Nismo-specific dampers. Inside, it featured Recaro Sport seats, a Nismo-branded tachometer, and unique interior trim. It appears in Need for Speed Heat and Unbound. The 2015 370Z Nismo featured an upgraded 3.7-liter V6 engine, producing 350 horsepower and 276 pound-feet of torque. with a specially tuned suspension system, including stiffer springs, larger stabilizer bars, and Nismo-specific dampers. Inside, it featured Recaro sport seats, a Nismo-branded tachometer, and unique interior trim. It appears in Need for Speed Heat and Unbound. The 2010 370Z Roadster Touring offered soft top that could be opened or closed in about 20 seconds, powered by the same 3.7-liter V6 engine as the coupe, producing 332 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque. To compensate for the lack of a fixed roof, the 370Z Roadster's chassis was reinforced to maintain rigidity and reduce flex. It appears in Need for Speed World, Hot Pursuit, and Hot Pursuit Remastered. The 1994 Nissan Access was a compact, multi-purpose vehicle designed to offer a blend of a car-like handling with the practicality of a minivan. In Europe and Japan, it is known as the Nissan Prairie. It appears in the Need for Speed as a traffic car.
Is that the fuel injector?
No way! Yeah, right! What the
It's Bozzy! Holy sh!
The 2009 Nissan Cube Z12 stood out for its distinctive and quirky design, featuring asymmetrical windows, a wraparound rear window, and a boxy shape that maximized interior space. It featured the lounge sofa seating arrangement and a shack dash topper for added flair. The Cube appears in Need for Speed Nitro. The 1971 Nissan Fairlady 240ZG, also known as the Datsun 240ZG, was sold only in Japan. It was a homologation model produced to comply with FIA regulations for Group 4 racing. 240 stands for the engine displacement, whilst G is an abbreviation for Grande. It featured a 2.4-liter inline-6 engine, L24, producing around 150 horsepower. It was equipped with a distinctive G-nose front end, which included a larger, more aerodynamic nose with integrated headlight covers. It appears in the Need for Speed, World, Shift to Unleashed, The Run, Need for Speed 2015, No Limits, Payback, Edge, Heat, and Unbound. The 2010 Nissan Frontier, also known as the Nissan Navara, has been in production since 1997, making it one of the longest-running models in Nissan's lineup. The latest generation of the Frontier features a new 3.8-liter V6 engine with 310 horsepower and a 9-speed automatic transmission. It appears as a traffic vehicle in Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, The Run, Most Wanted 2012, and Hot Pursuit Remastered. The 2007 R35 Nissan GTR was powered by a 3.8-liter twin-turbo V6 VR38DETT engine producing 480 horsepower along with a 6-speed dual-clutch automated manual transmission. Each engine was hand-assembled by a single technician known as Takumi at Nissan's Yokohama plant. It had a drag coefficient of 0.27, going 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.5 seconds. It is the first four-wheel drive car to have its transmission located at the rear and used Nissan's Atessa ETS all-wheel drive system. This results in a distribution of torque to the rear wheels varying from 50 to 98%, eliminating the previous generation's understeer weakness. It appears in Need for Speed Pro Street, Undercover, Shift, Nitro, World, Shift to Unleashed, and The Run. The 2013 R35 GTR received an increase in power with the VR38DETT engine now producing 545 horsepower and 463 pound-feet of torque, improving its 0 to 60 miles per hour time to around 2.7 seconds. Improvements were made to the suspension system, including new spring and damper weights and a revised front anti-roll bar. It appears in Need for Speed No Limits. The GTR Black Edition offered unique lightweight race-forged aluminum wheels, a carbon fiber rear spoiler, and a special black and red interior with Recaro sport seats. It retained the same 545 horsepower twin-turbo V6 engine. It appears in Need for Speed Rivals and Edge. The 2011 GTR Egoist R35 was a special edition focused on luxury, featuring hand-stitched leather interiors from Seton Company. With a high-end Bose sound system, custom-tuned to the interior acoustics of the Egoist. It retained the same 530 horsepower twin-turbo V6 engine and advanced all-wheel drive system as the standard GTR. The Egoist was hand-built to order, with each car taking over 2 weeks to complete, making it one of the most exclusive and personalized GTR variants ever produced. It appears in Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012 and Most Wanted Mobile. The 2010 Nissan GTR GT1 was developed for the FIA GT1 World Championship, featuring a race-tuned version of the VR38DETT engine, producing around 600 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque, using a naturally aspirated V8 powertrain. Unlike the road-going GTR, the GT1 was rear-wheel drive as per GT1 regulations. It appears on the box art of Need for Speed Shift 2 Unleashed. First revealed at the 2013 Tokyo Motor Show, the 2017 Nissan GTR Nismo featured the upgraded VR38DETT engine, producing 481 pound-feet of torque. thanks to larger turbochargers borrowed from Nissan's GT3 race car. It included a more aggressive aerodynamic package, increasing downforce by up to 100 kilograms. It set a Nürburgring lap time of 7 minutes and 8 seconds, making it one of the fastest production cars to lap the famous circuit. It appears in Need for Speed Heat and Unbound. The 2015 GTR Premium is a 2+2 sports car that featured a refined version of the VR38 DETT engine with improved fuel injectors and ignition timing for better response. The suspension was retuned with revised spring rates and new dampers, an improved braking system with larger rotors and new brake pads. It appears in Need for Speed 2015 and Edge. Revealed at the 2016 New York International Auto Show, the 2017 GTR Premium saw a power boost to 565 horsepower and 467 pound-feet of torque, achieved through better engine tuning and the use of turbochargers from the GTR Nismo. The interior was significantly upgraded with a redesigned dashboard, fewer physical buttons, and a new 8-inch touchscreen. It appears in Need for Speed 2015, Payback, Edge, Heat, and Unbound. The Nissan GTR Proto was a concept car unveiled at the 2005 Tokyo Motor Show, showcasing the design direction and technological advancements that would define the R35 GTR. It introduced a signature multi-dimensional styling, angular headlights, and distinctive rear end, which became key features of the production GTR. It appears on the box art of Need for Speed Pro Street. The 2009 Nissan GTR Spec V was a limited production variant with only 40 units produced. It is 60 kilograms lighter than the base GTR and is equipped with black rims, altered brakes and suspension, featuring a modified version of the VR38 DETT engine, retaining the standard 485 horsepower but with improved mid-range torque due to the use of high-gear boost control. It appears in Need for Speed Shift, World, Hot Pursuit, Shift 2 Unleashed, The Run, and Hot Pursuit Remastered. The Nissan Leaf, introduced in 2010, was one of the first mass-market electric vehicles powered by an 80 kilowatt electric motor and a 24 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack. By 2017, the Leaf had become the world's best-selling electric car with over 300,000 units sold globally, demonstrating its significant impact on the EV market. It appears in Need for Speed No Limits as a traffic car. The fourth generation Nissan Quest, produced from 2011 to 2017, was a minivan based on the Nissan D platform. The Quest appears in Need for Speed No Limits as a traffic car.
The 2012 Nissan Quest coddles its passengers in convenience, style, and safety.
The 1997 Nissan R390 GT1 LM Calisonic Zanavi No. 23 was developed to compete in the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Only 2 road-going cars were built to meet GT1 class regulations, making it one of the rarest and most sought-after Nissan models. Designed by Yutaka Hagiwara, the R390 featured a carbon fiber monocoque chassis and powered by a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V8 engine producing around 550 horsepower in road trim and over 640 horsepower in race trim based on Nissan's VRH35Z engine. Out of the 3 R390s that participated in the 1997 24 Hours of Le Mans, only the number 23 car finished the race. In the 1998 Le Mans race, the R390 GT1 achieved a 3rd place finish overall. The R390 appears in Japan release of the Need for Speed and No Limits. The 2004 Sentra SCR Spec V was the high-performance version of the Sentra, featuring a 2.5-liter QR25DE inline-4 engine producing 175 horsepower and 180 pound-feet of torque, equipped with a 6-speed manual transmission. It appears in Need for Speed Underground 1, Underground 2, and Underground Rivals. The S15 Silvia, produced from 1999 to 2002, was the final iteration of the Silvia line powered by the turbocharged 2-liter SR20 DET inline-4 engine, producing up to 250 horsepower. The Silvia is known for its frequent appearance in drift events thanks to its enormous success in the D1 Grand Prix series. It appears in Need for Speed Pro Street, Undercover, Shift, World, Shift 2 Unleashed, No Limits, Need for Speed 2015, Payback, Edge, Heat, and Unbound. The 1996 Silvia Case Aero was a high-performance version of the S14 Silvia, featuring the turbocharged SR20 DET engine, producing around 217 horsepower. The Aero package came with a Zenki front bumper with dual projector headlights, integrated fog lights, side skirts, a rear spoiler, and a sport-tuned suspension with stiffer springs and dampers. It appears in Japan release of the Need for Speed. The 1998 Silvia Case Aero was part of the Koki S14 generation, featuring sharper headlights, a more aggressive front bumper, and redesigned taillights, fitted with a revised SR20 DET notch top engine, a single Garrett T28 turbocharger, and a limited slip differential. It appears in Need for Speed Unbound. The The C110 Skyline 2000 GTR, produced from 1973 to 1974, earned the nickname Ken Mary from a popular advertising campaign featuring a couple named Ken and Mary. It was powered by the 2-liter S20 inline-6 engine. It appears in Japan release of the Need for Speed. The KPG C10 Skyline 2000 GTR, produced from 1969 to 1972, is affectionately known as the Hako Suka, combining the Japanese words for box, Hako, and skyline, Suka. It dominated Japanese motorsport with an impressive 50 race victories in its career, solidifying its status as a racing legend and setting the foundation for the GTR legacy. It was powered by the 2-liter S20 inline-6 engine, producing 158 horsepower and 130 pound-feet of torque, derived from the Prince R380 racing car. It appears in Need for Speed Shift, World, Shift 2 Unleashed, The Run, No Limits, Need for Speed 2015, Payback, Edge, Heat, and Unbound. The 1969 Skyline PGC-10 was the first car to bear the GTR badge, marking the beginning of Nissan's high-performance Skyline series. It made its race debut and won at the JAF GP in May 1969. Since then, it kept winning until it attained 52 victories before the Nissan Works team withdrew in October 1972. It appears in Japan release of the Need for Speed. The R31 Skyline 2000 GTS-R was produced as a homologation special in 1987 to qualify for Group A touring car racing, with 800 units made. It was based on Nissan's 7th generation 7th SU or 7th Sukai Rain Skyline model. It featured the RB20 DET-R engine, producing 207 horsepower. The GTS-R achieved considerable success in Group A racing, particularly in the Japanese Touring Car Championship, the 1988 European Touring Car Championship, and came 6th for the NME team in the 1988 24 Heures des Francorchamps at Spa. It appears in Japan release of the Need for Speed. The R32 Skyline GTR, produced from 1989 to 1994, earned the nickname Godzilla from the Australian car press due to its dominating performance and Japanese origin. It was powered by the legendary 2.6-liter RB26 DETT twin-turbo inline-6 engine, producing 276 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque, although actual output was often higher due to Japan's Gentleman's Agreement. The R32 introduced the Atessa ETS all-wheel drive system and super high-cast 4-wheel steering, providing exceptional handling and stability. It dominated Group A racing in the JTCC, where it won every race it entered from 1990 to 93, solidifying its legendary status. It appears in Japan release of the Need for Speed World, Shift 2 Unleashed, The Run, No Limits, and Edge. The R33 Skyline GTR, produced from 1995 to 98, featured an improved chassis and increased rigidity, resulting in better handling and ride comfort compared to the R32. It retained the RB26 DETT engine but had better aerodynamics with a lower drag coefficient and enhanced downforce. In 1995, the Skyline GTR R33 became the first production car to lap the Nürburgring Nordschleife in under 8 minutes, setting a time of 7 minutes and 59 seconds. It appears in the box art of Japan release of the Need for Speed. The R34 Skyline GTR, produced from 1999 to 2002, continued to use the RB26 DETT engine, with a more responsive twin-turbo setup and improved cooling. It introduced a multifunction display on the dashboard, providing real-time information on a car's performance metrics such as turbo boost pressure and G-forces. The R34 Skyline GTR appears in Need for Speed Nitro. The 2005 Skyline GTR Nismo Z-Tune R34 is the final model of the R34, which was developed by Nissan's Nismo division to celebrate their 20th anniversary. Only 20 units were produced. These cars were built on used Skyline GTR V-Spec 2 models with less than 18,000 miles or 30,000 kilometers of mileage. The Z-Tune featured a heavily modified version of the RB26 DETT engine known as the Z2, producing 493 horsepower and 398 pound-feet of torque, equipped with Nismo GT500 spec turbochargers, reinforced chassis components, and upgraded suspension. It appears in Need for Speed World. The 1993 R32 V-Spec or Victory specification came equipped with an upgraded suspension system and Brembo brakes as standard. It achieved remarkable success in the FIA Group A touring car category, particularly at the Nürburgring. It appears in Need for Speed 2015, Payback, Heat, and Unbound. The 1999 Skyline R34 V-Spec featured improved aerodynamics, including a larger adjustable rear spoiler, front splitter, and rear diffuser. The V-Spec R34 is depicted on the cover art of the Japanese release of Need for Speed High Stakes. in Need for Speed Underground as Eddie's car, in Need for Speed Payback as Tyler's car, and it also appears in Underground 2, Underground Rivals, Carbon, Carbon on the City, Pro Street, Undercover, World, Shift, Shift 2 Unleashed, Most Wanted 2012, Need for Speed 2015, Payback, Edge, Heat, and Unbound. The 2000 Skyline GTR V-Spec 2 featured additional aerodynamic improvements, including a carbon fiber hood with a NACA duct for better cooling and reduced weight. In 2005, Nismo celebrated their 20th anniversary by upgrading 20 second-hand V-Spec 2 models to the Nismo Z-Tune specification. The Skyline V-Spec 2 appears in Need for Speed No Limits. The 1984 RSX Turbo C was the first Skyline to feature a turbocharged engine powered by the 2-liter FJ20ET inline-4 engine producing 190 horsepower. It featured a redesigned front end that gave it the nickname Tekamen, meaning Iron Mask. It appears in the Japan release of the Need for Speed.
Where's your steering wheel? Let's say goodbye to the Jag Club.
The 1980s Skyline Turbo 2000 GT ES featured a turbocharged version of the L20ET inline-6 engine producing 140 horsepower. It appears in a Japan release of the Need for Speed. The 2011 Nissan Versa, also known as Nissan Tida outside of North America, is a hatchback known for its impressive fuel efficiency, achieving up to 40 miles per gallon on the highway. It appears as a traffic vehicle in Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, The Run, Most Wanted, Edge, and Hot Pursuit Remastered. The 2023 RZ34 Nissan Z Performance is powered by a 3-liter twin-turbo V6 engine producing 400 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque, manufactured in Kaminokawa, Tochigi in Japan. Its design takes elements from previous Z models such as the iconic Z-shaped LED headlights and a retro-inspired rear end, blending heritage with modern aesthetics. It appears in Need for Speed No Limits. First shown on September 16, 2020 at the Nissan Pavilion in Yokohama, Japan, the Nissan Z prototype draws heavy inspiration from the original 240Z. The teardrop-shaped headlights, rectangular grille, and long hood, blending nostalgia with contemporary styling. It is powered by a twin turbocharged V6 engine. The Z prototype appears in Need for Speed Unbound.